Peyton Krebs aside, let me ask you this. Does this jersey in any way, and this will be another topic that I get into on the Eichel segment, does this jersey hold any water at a pond? The Eichel number 9, does it hold any water at all?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It's just such a dud now. Because it's just a dud.
It's the way, and I guess this is a nice segue into our opening segment here, the lead, brought to you by MGD, Miller Genuine Draft.
And Budweiser.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think it wrapped up in about as poor a way possible if you're a Buffalo fan, you know? Like, what a sour note to go off on. A guy who quits on the franchise, doesn't no longer has faith in the vision of the team, the trajectory of the team, doesn't want to be along for it, and straight up goes to management, goes to ownership and says, I don't want to be here. Like, honestly just says, I don't want to be here.
Right.
And frankly, if that's the way it closed out, I don't think that jersey should hold any clout on a pond. You know? No. Jerseys on the pond are meant to be the legends of the game, the guys who succeeded the franchises, the ones who brought them the cups.
Yeah.
This is not that. You know? And in fact, this guy is like, I'm actively rooting against this guy now. This guy,
you're a Vegas.
This guy is the Kevin Durant of the NHL.
Wow.
He's like, I can't win. I can't win with this team. I'm just gonna whine and whine and whine. Mm-hmm. And then one day I'm just going to sign with the loaded team, the Golden State Warriors, and I'm going to finally win it all.
Right.
And that seems like the kind of thing he's doing, you know?
Right.
I'm going somewhere warm, somewhere they're going to treat me like a king, which they did with the whole limo thing.
Sure.
And somewhere I got a real shot at winning here. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
You come on. I know Calgary was in the discussion. We can get to them.
Yeah.
But do you think on the inside he was actively rooting, oh, Calgary? I'd be down for Calgary. I don't think so.
No, gosh.
He had Vegas on his mind from the get-go.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Elliot Friedman said that. So, in a long-winded way, no, that you cannot wear that to a pond.
No, that's the thing. It's either being shipped off or altered because...
You got it out of winners, so it's not like you lost much, you know?
No, exactly. I got it for $45. But... Yeah, you know what, you shed light on that little comment that Jack made when the Buffalo Sabres mentioned they were thinking of doing a retool or rebuild right before the whole Taylor Hall signing and that kind of thing. And Eichel just went up to management and said, hey, listen, guys, I'm not on board with this. My question is, and it's kind of an on-the-spot question, but can you think of another star player who's gone through a similar situation and either A, done the same thing, or B, waited it out and been patient? Because, let's be honest, Buffalo has faced unprecedented failure since he was drafted. The other question you bring up is, okay, is he part of that? Of course he's part of that. He's part of the failure. You know, they didn't make it to the playoffs in any of his years. He's part of that for sure. But I'm just trying to think of any other star player in this league in the last 20 years where they faced 5 years of near basement level failure. And what happened? I can't think of one.
The first one that comes to my mind, and he's not nearly the star that Eichel is, but he had the same kind of effect in the fan base where he was very, he was a productive player, but seemingly just the market wasn't a fit for him. And then he went to a very good team and he went on to win a cup. And it's a local town, local flavor, and you might laugh, and again, not as good as Eichel, Phil Kessel.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
He was when Phil Kessel came to Toronto, that was supposed to be a big deal, you know?
Right.
Like, very good player. He's going to put up 40 goals, you know?
Yeah.
And those years with the Leafs were awful, right?
Yeah.
Just failures.
They were
the dark days, the Dion Phaneuf days.
Yeah.
Right?
Hard to watch.
Yeah. And it's just this weird relationship with the fan base. Like, really productive player, but hot dog. Doesn't want to be here, you know?
And you kind of knew you weren't winning with this guy.
You kind of knew, yeah. And it was only a matter of time. Right. And then they ship him off. Instant fit with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Two cups. So maybe this is that same trajectory. I can't think of. You're putting me on the spot here.
I know.
I can only think of a better one. But that's just the one.
Because you have to think, like, how many teams have been losers like the Sabres, and there's not many. The Leafs are one of them. And then having a star for that long. So that kind of leads me into my next.
Taylor Hall's another one, but
sure.
That
Well,
you know,
yeah.
he really dropped off.
You know,
but
what?
he was an MVP. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Now, I guess you could. That would be a fair question if the Edmonton Oilers of the 2010s to 2015 they were a gong show.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to tell me that a Taylor Hall or even a Jordan Eberle in a lesser extent came to management and demanded a trade like Eichel did and said, "Hey, I'm not on board with this," then I would have been surprised. But I don't think they did that, to my knowledge. I think Taylor Hall was shipped out organically, and that was just a product of wanting a defenseman. So it's an unprecedented situation in that sense, and it's just, I mean, there's a lot of just nuance to this and uniqueness to it in general. But
yeah, I mean, hey, so we'll go over the deal here because we didn't do that. Jack Eichel. This is what the Knights receive in the Eichel trade. They get Eichel and a conditional third-round pick. The Sabres get Alex Tuck, Peyton Krebs, and conditional draft picks. These are the conditions. If Vegas' first-round draft pick in 2022 is not a top 10 pick, following the draft lottery, Vegas will transfer its own first-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft and its own second-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft to Buffalo. Buffalo will then transfer its own third-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft to Vegas. And the other stipulation, if Vegas' first-round pick in 2022 is a top 10 pick following the draft lottery, Vegas will transfer its own first-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft and its own second-round pick in the 2024 NHL draft to Buffalo, while Buffalo will transfer its own third-round pick in the 2024 NHL draft to Vegas. That's a lot to wrap your head around, is it not? Yeah, so there you go.
It's a mouthful to hear, and then to me, what I take from that is the pick is top 10 protected in 2022. And to me, that's where Buffalo gets fleeced. They get rinsed on this deal in that sense. I don't like the fact that it's top 10 protected because, let's be honest, this is going to be the only year that Vegas could potentially finish in the bottom 10. And I think that, you know, you have the star player. You have the Jack Eichel of the deal. Like,
which is ridiculous.
Get that.
Okay, but that's ridiculous. Vegas finishing in the
Hey, it could happen.
Okay.
All these injuries, you never know. Like, it could happen. But yeah, it's just one of those stipulations where it's like you just look like a little bit of a clown coming out with that top 10 protected, not in your favor. Outside of that, to me, this is a mediocre return. I'm sorry, like I'm shocked this was the best.
You liked it at first.
I liked it at first.
Twitter.
I liked it. I only like it from the Buffalo Sabres perspective because I like the Buffalo Sabres outlook. The deal in a vacuum, not considering everything else. I mean, we have to because I'll be honest with you, the 2022 NHL draft has waned on me a little bit. It hasn't been the star power draft I imagined it would be. Things are moving a lot in that draft. I don't know what Peyton Krebs is yet. You know, he's still trying to find his footing in the AHL in Rochester. I love Alex Tuck. I think Alex Tuck is going to be a huge loss for Vegas, to be completely honest. When I was watching Alex Tuck in the playoffs last year, he was a standout player. Versus Montreal, I would have taken Alex Tuck over Mark Stone any day of the week. He was lights out. He was like a Josh Anderson out there. So they're going to miss him big time. But the thing for me, for Buffalo, what I wanted was that true blue chip prospect. I just don't know if Krebs is that guy. I don't know. You might have a different opinion on that. I just don't know if Krebs is that bona fide, this guy's likely going to be a first-line player. That's what I'm getting at.
No, like if you trade Jack Eichel, and we prognosticated about this before the trade, right? It's either got to be like high picks, like really high picks, or blue chip star prospects.
Yeah.
And when we say blue chip stars prospects, we're talking Bo and Byron.
Exactly.
We're
talking a top 10
top 2 defenseman or a top line center.
Correct.
And Krebs might not be that. I know his comparison of the draft was Ryan O'Reilly. That's what got me excited. Mm-hmm. But if that's your peak, if Ryan O'Reilly's your peak, like the absolute highest
Yeah.
attainable player you can get, a guy who's only going to get 65 points a year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
You know?
And he's a cup winner, and I think they'd be thrilled if Krebs is O'Reilly. They'd be thrilled. But that's best case scenario. I think that's best case scenario. I don't know. I look at Krebs and I don't see a dynamic standout quality.
Mhm.
Except he's got a great character. He's got a great motor. I think he's
two-way game.
for the culture in Buffalo, which I think is going to be just as important as anything.
Yeah.
This is a great step.
Yeah.
I'm wildly interested in the Cousins-Krebs connection because you're going back to the WHL draft in 2019, all that kind of stuff. I love that about it. World Junior connection as well. But, you know, that's maybe where Buffalo's failing is not getting that blue chip. Which, you know.
And lots of people would argue, as much as you liked Alex Tuck, for a guy who, you know, you just saw him in the playoffs, for a guy who watched Vegas all regular season, Alex Tuck was a third-line player all year.
Sure.
He was.
He was, yeah.
You can't deny it.
Yeah.
So in a small vacuum in the playoffs, was he great? Sure. You know, he was elevated to the top line in the playoffs, yes. But you know, throughout the whole year, he was a third line guy who had a great motor. He was a good energy guy.
Yeah.
Like he's like Zach Hyman. You know?
Right.
Like Alex Tuck is like Zach Hyman.
Which is extremely valuable.
Yeah. But again, is it Eichel worthy in a trade?
No,
You're getting Zach Hyman. You're getting at his best Ryan O'Reilly, and what
a first, and it's likely going to be what, like a
25th or whatever,
25.
So I agree with you. Buffalo didn't get what they wanted, but it sounds like it was all they could get.
And that being said, it's not a bad return. Like I don't want to mix it up and say it's a bad return. It's a fairly decent return. And then it just kind of makes you wonder, couldn't you have done this a little earlier? You know, like that's what kind of bugs people, and I totally get that. But